right, step 3. Let's manage your energy. So this is step 3 of our 3-step solution to any problem, the fundamentals of making a plan and sticking to it no matter what your plan is. Step 3 is where we get to turn all of your biggest goals and dreams and commitments from big ass deals to very manageable endeavors. Because the way you've always done things is not the way you want to always do things, right? From here on out. You're not looking for just a plan. You're looking for a plan that you love, which means you know exactly what you're doing, you like your reasons for doing it, and you believe it's doable without having to sacrifice or compromise other things you care about. So that's what we're going to take care of with step 3, manage your energy. So this is when you get to constantly check in, not just am I working the plan, but is my plan still working for me? This is how we make it sustainable and set you up for success. So let me be clear. This is not a tactic for you to constantly renegotiate how committed you are to this goal or keep questioning back and forth. Is this what I really want? This is a tactic for you to remain committed and clear so that any stressors or challenges that come up, you just incorporate them into your plan. So I want you to be able to set out with your eyes wide open on this goal, knowing that you'll get tired, knowing that things won't happen the way you want them to, knowing that life will come up, life will happen, and it will want you to rearrange your priorities. So you plan for all of this so that when it does happen, you don't stop and ask, am I going to keep going with this goal? You ask, all right, how do I want to respond? How do I need to take care of myself in order to keep going with this goal? Because the goal is a non-negotiable. So first I'm going to give you an energy assessment so you can get really clear on where you're starting and get super specific about what your depletion habits are. So much fun. And then I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide so that as you progress through your goal, you have a way to constantly be managing your energy in a mindful, sustainable way. So, energy assessment. On a scale of 1 to 10, where do you feel like your energy is by the end of each typical day? If 1 is completely, totally depleted, and 10 is content, replenished, renewed. So 10 isn't super energetic and bouncing off the walls, but 10 is like, I am rested, I am renewed, I am ready to spend some energy. Second question for the assessment is, what does deplete your energy? So walk through a day in your imagination and write down what you spend your mental, emotional, and physical energy on. And then for each one, note how much energy you spend. How depleting is it? So write a minus sign for like, this takes a little bit of energy. Write a square for this takes a beefy amount of energy. And then write a plus sign for anything that you know you spend a ton of energy on. And again, mental, emotional, or physical. We're covering all the energetic fronts. And the final question of the assessment is, how do you renew your energy? So what recharges you and helps you get back to that 10? So spend some time thinking about this. Pause if you need to and write it down because you really want to think this through. Now, based on what you have assessed here, tell me what is going to need to change in order for you to set yourself up for success in this plan. You have a plan, you have a goal that you want to keep committed to. So what's going to need to change? What are you assessing that you're going to need to spend less energy on? And or what are you going to need to adjust in how you're renewing your energy or how often? So your brain might have a little bit of a challenge moment here. It might think, okay, well, there's a giant plus sign next to work. I feel like I spend a ton of mental and emotional and physical energy on work. So in order to succeed at my plan, I feel like I need to spend less energy there, but I don't feel like that's totally doable, at least not within the next week or month. That's fine. You don't need to make any huge changes where you don't feel a ton of ownership. So if that's where your brain is going, bring it back to what's in your sphere of control. Focus on only things that you have total control over, or mostly control over, even if that's as simple as the sleep you get and the amount of water you drink. Like, make it that basic and simple if that's where you need to start. Because even minor changes in those departments make huge effects on your energy, right? So I want you to really focus on your mental and emotional, energetic expenditure here. So if you're spending a ton of energy worrying about finances, this is something you know in a typical day burns some energy. Or you regularly stress before meetings or after a conversation with like a certain person. Or if you spend a lot of energy reliving past mistakes, you notice that's something that takes up some bandwidth. That's what you want to be aware of. That's what you want to bring your awareness to right now. Write that down. So think about your plan and the goal that you're setting out on, whatever it is. Make more money, set your business up, get your life organized, whatever your plan is for. Where do you see the potential for those depletion habits to come up? Let me give you an example so that we can like ground all of this in real life. So let's say I know I spend a ton of energy stressing about making the wrong decision and worrying if I'm going to end up financially stable or not. Not that I have any personal experience with those stressors, right? We all have these kind of depletion habits. That's why we have to normalize them and find a way for them not to hold us back from what we want. So let's say you know you spend a ton of energy in those areas. Along the course of this plan that you have to maybe explore some career options, you might be able to foresee a lot of opportunities for that depletion habit to come up, right? If you spend a ton of energy worrying about making the wrong decision, exploring options, which just means exploring possible decisions, could activate that habit fairly often, yeah? We just want to see it. So look at your plan, look at your depletion habits that you've brought awareness to, and just notice, okay, I can see this coming up on a regular basis or in these certain scenarios. So now that you have all this juicy awareness, I'm going to give you this step-by-step guide so that you can support yourself through this process of following your goal. This is where you get to do some like inner evolution. This is where you stop trying to do new things in the old way. Because we're not just going to get you to the end of this plan and achieving this goal. We're going to set you up with new habits so that you can achieve every goal you ever want to. Sound good? So here's the step-by-step guide. You're going to write this out. It's really important to let your thoughts completely and thoroughly, which you're helping yourself out by writing it down. You can type it out if you want to. So answer this. What does it look like when I spend a ton of mental or emotional energy on something? When I am doing this depletion habit, what does it look like? Describe it as if it's something you've witnessed several times. For instance, someone asked how my career search is going, and I have no answer. And then I get immediately anxious and feel like I'm not making progress and figuring things out fast enough. And then I usually spend the next 4 or 5 hours distracted and overwhelmed because my brain is bouncing back and forth between ideas I've already explored and feels like it's coming up against the same walls over and over again. That's a really vivid description of the experience of this depletion habit, right? Because you can tell how that would spend a lot of energy. That would cost a lot of energy. So now I need you to pretend as if someone has just told you that. They've told you like, this is where my energy gets spent in these moments, in my mind and in my emotions. What do you need to feel calmer or more secure or more confident in those moments? What would you need to know? What would you need to hear? In those moments, in the one I just described, my guess is I need to believe that I will find the answers that I'm looking for. I will need to know that I'm not behind or too late. I will need to know that no one's judging me, or at least if they are, I would need to know it doesn't matter. Yeah? So get really honest here. Take your time, you need to, and get really clear and specific. Because as you progress towards your goal, you're going to have these human moments where this depletion habit happens. And what I want you to do, now that you have all of this really well thought out awareness, is pause. So this is like seeing on Waze, getting a notification on Waze that there's an obstacle up ahead. But you don't really know when you're going to encounter it because it's never where the map says, right? So it's just kind of in your awareness, like, oh, there might be an obstacle. There might not. But I know that at some point along the road ahead, there might be. So you keep driving. You don't stop because there might be an obstacle. You're committed to your destination, right? This is you continuing to be like sticking to your plan, committed to your goal. But you know you may encounter a roadblock along the way. And then when you finally see it, what happens? Your brain doesn't get totally distracted. It's not caught off guard. It doesn't freak out. It says, oh, there's that obstacle that I knew was coming. So this is how you want to treat your depletion habits as you progress towards your goal. Like the predictable, not so big deals that they are, okay? It's even okay if they do drain you a bit, right? We're humans. We're going to experience stress. That's not a problem. But now you have this awareness to calm them down, and you have the ability to cut off the endless energy drain. So I want you to notice, oh, there's that stress habit. My mind is bouncing between all the options again. My mind is freaking out about the bank balance again, or whatever the depletion habit is. Just notice there's that habit again. And remember, it's only coming up because you need something. So in the moment, you cannot magically produce the information your brain is anxious about not having, right? So you can't meet that need. But you can calm your anxiety by acknowledging the need, acknowledging that it makes sense. So when you're stressing about something, you're indicating that you have a need for something. That's all that's happening. And by objectively validating it, I get why this is happening. I know what I want. I know what I need. It's okay that I want it. You're partially meeting the need because you're addressing it. That makes sense? This makes a huge difference in your energy overall because your brain and body find out that, oh, we can relax. You're not ignoring the stress altogether, which is avoiding, and you're not getting sucked into the black hole of doom, right? You're not getting totally distracted and wrapped up in it, which is indulging. And avoiding and indulging both take a lot of energy. So this is what you're going to do to repeat this process and move through your plan. Step 1, you already know this, but I'm going to reiterate. Start with what you know. Always be able to bring yourself back to the solution-focused perspective. Step 2, make one decision at a time. Allow yourself to not be stuck. You know enough to take one action and move yourself one step forward. And then as you keep going, do step 3 all the time. It's going to feel so good. Build these new habits up. You're doing new things, so it deserves you trying to do them in a new way, not the old way, right? So stay aware of how depleted you are. Manage your depletion that you can, that's in your control, and renew it on purpose. Renew yourself when you do get too depleted. Yeah? You totally got this. Okay, when you're ready to create a more detailed plan and apply it directly on top of your very unique and special life, book your free consult because we'll talk about creating all of this for you, making a sustainable plan so that you can make it all the way through to your goal. In the meantime, have fun rocking these 3 steps. We'll see you soon.